Hey everybody, so today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Going in the greenhouse here, and I'm going to do something with a different type of plant. I'm not going to do bonsais in this video. I'm going to do a spider plant video, how to cultivate spider plants from your adult spider plant, I guess you could say, or from the mother plant, however you want to term it. So let's get started. All right, so I've got a couple of spider plants on my shelf of pots, and I've got a ton of little hanging spider plants that come off the mother plant. This would be the mother plant up here, and these are the baby spider plants. They grow out of a spike, comes off like this, and then it gets the new spider plants on the end there, and once they start getting bigger, that will droop down and turn into something like this. So it's got a ton of them on here, and then at some point they start growing roots. So if you missed the ends of them, it'll help start the roots faster, keeping them separated, which I haven't done such a good job of that right now, but trying to keep them separated so that they have plenty of air individually is good also. I have another one over here. This one's kind of dried out. It needs more water. So one thing with the spider plants, you can tell if they need more water by the tips of the leaves will start turning brown like this, and if they have plenty of water, they'll look more like that, or nice and green all the way to the end of the leaf. So that's a good looking spider plant right there. It was cleaned up recently. I had some bugs out here in the greenhouse, so you can just pull those leaves off, cut them off, pull them off. Just be gentle. They generally come off pretty easy though when you pull at the base of the leaf. You just pull it down and pull it down towards the soil, and it just pulls the whole leaf off just like that. You can put that in the compost. And so what I'm going to do is I already cut off a couple of the shoots that had some really big roots on them. So I have that over here on the bench. So this guy actually already starting to grow another baby spider plant on the baby spider plant, but as you can see, it's got a ton of really big thick roots on it, and the ends of them is where it actually collects the water at the end, where it kind of looks like an upside down mushroom. That's kind of cool. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it up just a little bit, like this leaf that's hanging down. I'm going to take that off and then put that in a small pot, probably a pot about this size. One thing that I have noticed with spider plants is if you put them, if you put them in a small pot, say something like this, to where it's, it looks like it's comfortable in there, they grow, but they grow slower. So if you want, a spider plant that's massive like that one, relatively quick, you take your spider plants and you put them in a pot that seems to be way too big for it, so it'll grow faster. So we're going to go ahead and do that with these 4 or 5 spider plants here. All right. Okay, so I grabbed a couple of pots. I got 2 square pots. I got 2 round pots because I just want a little bit of a variety. These are pots that I had from other plants that I've purchased. And these ones I actually got on Amazon. Not too expensive, but they're relatively flimsy, cheap pots. Flimsy, but they work really well for doing new plantings until they get big enough that you want to put them in a nicer pot or something like that. So we're going to use the potting soil that I have in this big pot right here, And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill up the pot all the way to the top and a little bit overflowing. I've got some roots in there. It's compost also. So I've got it to where it is overflowing just a little bit with soil. I'm going to set that one aside and do all the pots like that. Okay, so I hope you can see me, but the reason why I overflowed them like this was so that when you put them in the soil, you can just push them down into the soil and pack the soil around them. It makes it a lot easier that way. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this one up a little bit. It's kind of funky because the way they grow off the stem is kind of like this. So this part hasn't quite started growing up yet. So honestly, I think I'm going to just take this bottom piece off because it just isn't growing in the right direction. And that's no big deal. It can go in the compost. And I'm going to pull this bottom leaf off. I'm going to pull this bottom part off here too, or cut this bottom part off here too. So it leaves us with a plant like this. So I'm going to put this in one of the smaller pots here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it down in the middle, push it down as deep as I want it, right? And then I'm going to pack the rest of the soil down around it to where it's got soil like in the middle here because it had that middle space here. So I put a little bit of soil in there also. Push it down. You don't want to pack it too tight, just tight enough that it's going to hold the plant and the dirt's not just going to flow out of the pot when you water it. So it's basically just going to have a small lip of the pot so that when you're watering it, you can fill it up to the top of that and then just let it drain out, and that's as much as it needs water. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one aside and do the next one. And I am going to take off all the baby spider plants from these ones to help this plant actually grow faster and mature quicker. Take out all the dead stuff also, because sometimes there's dead flowers in here, because these actually flower before they do this. So take out the dead flowers because they sometimes stay in there. Alright, so then I'm going to take this and I'm going to use a bigger pot for this one. And you push the roots, like kind of hold the roots as you're pushing them in there. And because it's not packed in there tightly yet, you can push them down in there and it won't break the roots off. So you just gently push it down in there and then put the soil up next to it and push it down in. And just lift the leaves up while you're packing it in there. And it's as simple as that to start your new spider plants. The spider plants are actually really good as house plants because they absorb toxins out of the air. I don't know all the toxins that they absorb, so I'm not going to go into a sciencey talk about them, but they are good for the air in your house. I have read that if you have trouble sleeping, that having like a spider plant and aloe vera plants in your room, it actually helps you to sleep better because of the extra oxygen that they put off and also the fact that they absorb toxins out of the air. I am pulling off the leaves also that have been chewed on by bugs. Don't know what kind of bugs they are. It might be caterpillars, it might be grasshoppers. We have all kinds of stuff out here in Florida that like to eat plants. So kind of have to be careful with that. And obviously if you find any bugs on them, you definitely want to pick them off. But these generally grow pretty quick and healthy, so you don't have to worry about bugs too much. Just that greenhouse is outside, so I do get some bugs in here every so often. Generally, I don't like to use pesticides on my plants at all. I have a whole bunch of little green anole lizards and tree frogs and other kinds of small reptiles in the greenhouse that are natural out here in Florida, and they eat a lot of the bugs, so I don't have to worry about too many bugs. Generally it's just caterpillars I have to worry about, so I generally just pick those off and smash them, because not that I'm a heartless person, I just don't want caterpillars eating my plants. Alright, so then I got this one here. Last one. Honestly, I think I am going to leave this one on here, because this is kind of it's kind of developed, not super developed, but pick up some of the lower leaves. I'm not going to leave all of the shoots on here. Take off some of the smaller leaves on the bottom. Yeah, some of Okay, so I finished potting this one up, and my camera died while I was doing that, so got it all potted up. Looks good. And so there's all the plants all potted up. So that's the end of the video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.